Hello, my name is Rollin. Last time we talked about the keyboard and the basics of the keyboard, and now we're going to talk about the mouse. So computer mice come in like the keyboards, all different shapes and sizes, um, but they all perform the same function. Some of them may have more buttons than others. The basic mouse has two buttons and a scroll wheel and looks something like this. You've got your left click button, your right click button, and your scroll wheel. Now, there's really only two different things you can do with each of these buttons. You can either click it or you can hold it. So the scroll wheel, you can actually usually click as well, and click and hold and move up and down. We're going to start by talking about the left click button. Now, the left click button allows you to swap between programs, basically click on anything you want on the computer. So in order to use the mouse, all you do is move it back and forth on whatever surface it's sitting on. Most of the modern day mice have lasers in the bottom, so you can use them on just about anything, except maybe a glass tabletop might be a little difficult. Now, when you move the mouse, the cursor moves. The cursor is just this arrow that's on the screen. If you click, it's going to select whatever you've clicked on. So if I wanted to open the windows, or let's just say I click on the clock down here, it opens the calendar, the clock, all this stuff. That's just single clicking, not holding, like that. Now, say I wanted to click on or select multiple things. Maybe I have a bunch of let's just say folders here on my desktop that I want to clear up my desktop a little bit, and I want to throw them all in the trash. Now I can click and hold down to move it. I can move it to the trash, and then it's gone. Now if I want to move multiple, I can click, instead of click and holding one, I can click above it, drag across it, and you'll notice this box comes up, and now both folders are selected. Now I can hold them and move them together. You can kind of see they're both moving together wherever I click. That's called highlighting. And all we're going to do is highlight both of these by click and hold, drag across them, and then let go. Now they're highlighted. You can move them both to the trash or wherever you want to move them. We'll talk about file structures and all that in a later video. But if you want to make a new folder or get information on stuff, really this button here, your right click button, is a very useful tool. So I had used it just a moment ago to make folders. So if I just right click out on my desktop, new, gives you all these different options. Right click has tons of different options. So you've got view. If maybe my desktop was too small, I could click large icons. Now my trash can's a little bigger. You can see it there. But yeah, you right click and you get a menu. And you can go through that menu and use the left click button to change whatever you want to change. All kinds of options here. So making a folder, right click, new, folder, left click to create it. New, left, so right click to get the menu, go over to new. All I'm doing is hovering now, not clicking yet. Going over to folder, clicking folder with the left button. And again, you can drag them individually by click and hold and move. Click and hold and move, or together by click and hold while dragging your mouse across them, dragging the cursor by moving the mouse across them. And then if you want to not have them selected anymore, you just click left click off of them. All right. So that's how the basics of the left click work. The right click is, again, just kind of gives you options for the different items. And then we're going to talk a little about the scroll wheel. So to talk about that, we really need something we can scroll through. So I'm going to go to the internet here with my Google Chrome browser, and we're just going to go to Reddit. This is just a website I kind of frequent read about things. Now, the scroll wheel, again, is just this button, or this little wheel here, and you drag your finger up and down across it, and what you do is when you have the window selected, you can scroll down by scrolling your finger down across the wheel. You can scroll up by scrolling your finger up across the wheel. Now the click, it brings up this little, it looks kind of like 4 arrows with a dot in the middle. And what that does is it just lets you move the page just by dragging. All you have to do is click. You don't have to keep scrolling the wheel. You just click it once and that's it. Now, if you want to continue scrolling down, you just keep the mouse or the wheel clicked, and you can just continuously scroll. You don't have to touch it. Hands are off the mouse entirely. All right. And then to stop, you just click the middle scroll wheel button again. And this works if you have a page that's wide. You can scroll left and right using it as well. All right. Now, again, just using the mouse for all these commands here, I can close the browser by left clicking. I can find out information about this picture of this mouse by right clicking. I can either delete it, rotate it. It gives you all kinds of options. So play around with your right click button a bit. It's a very, very useful tool. So you right click, you go to what you want to do, and then you left click the thing you want to do. So for instance, I could rotate this mouse picture just by right clicking, going to rotate, left clicking. There it goes, rotated the mouse picture. So again, play around with your right click button. Really get to know the different menus that are inside the different windows, because everyone's going to be different. Like if I am inside the internet, I have reload, different options, print, inspect, all this stuff. Whereas if I'm on the desktop, I can create new folders. Really, the right click is a very powerful tool, and if you just will go through and look at the different options it gives you, and just read through, and they're mostly self-explanatory. Delete's going to delete this picture. Rotate, we already talked about. Edit and create, it's got different programs it opens, all this kind of stuff. So the basics of the mouse: left click, right click, middle scroll wheel, and then different combinations of holding, dragging, and scrolling. And that's how the mouse works. We'll see you on the next video. I think I'm going to talk a little bit about, we'll probably do monitors or maybe the computer next. Depends on if you have a laptop or a tower, and we'll talk about those on the next video. Meantime, hope you have a great day. We'll see you later.